We all have imperfections. We all have things that we wish were different about ourselves. But what if I told you that those imperfections are actually the key to unlocking your full potential? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine. I am so happy you guys are here. I have been waiting all week to film this video. It's such a powerful topic to talk about that I don't see a lot of people discuss, which is our imperfections and how imperfect we actually are. So as you guys can tell, your girl is a little sick. It's been hot, cold, rainy, windy, all the weathers except for snow because Florida. I got my ginger lemon tea. Shout out to my mom for putting me on. As long as I got my tea, we good, y'all. So as you guys know, I have been on my little therapy journey for the past 4 months, and it has gone way better than I expected it to. I came to my therapist and I was like,
hey, I want to be productive. I want to be a good communicator. I want to be able to grow, be my best self. I want to be able to process my emotions better.
She came to me and she was like, you have all these things that you want to do, and all you need is to strengthen this one concept and you can build from there. And that was a relationship with myself. So I am going to be sharing all the insights that I have received and everything that has helped me on my journey. And throughout this video, just remember that it's all about shifting your mindset and embracing this journey of self-love and of self-growth. So let's get into the practical tips to turn those weaknesses into our superpowers. First and foremost, it is important to recognize that nobody is perfect. Not you, not me, not your mom, your dad, your friend, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. Sorry, but not sorry. We all have our own quirks. We have our own insecurities. We have our own flaws. And that is okay, because that's what makes each of us unique. And that's what makes us human. Imagine if everyone in the world was exactly the same. Picture that for a minute. Life would be pretty boring. So we have to accept that these imperfections are what bring us closer to one another, especially for those who might be looked down upon because of their flaws. Like, think about this. Whenever you share your weaknesses with somebody, or you're able to truly be yourself, share your insecurities, your quirks, it's usually when the other person is also in a vulnerable state and they're also sharing the same thing with you, because you're able to connect on that level. Like, hey,
you have flaws, you have insecurities, so do I.
This has been a challenge for me, and therapy has made me realize that in our childhood, we receive messages. So one of the messages that has grown this perfectionism in me is my parents raised me to be disciplined, to be responsible, to be independent. The message that I started to receive from that was that I couldn't fail. I couldn't let them down. I had to be successful. And on top of that, I also received messages from school. I was low-key bullied, although at that time I would just laugh it off. Just thinking back, whenever I would do a presentation or I would ask a question in class, people would come to me and they would say,
oh, you didn't know that question? Oh, you always stutter.
But those voices that you hear in your childhood from your mom, from your dad, from your friends, from your classmates, your teachers, those become the voices in our head that stay with us forever. The problem starts to come when those voices start to impact your lifestyle, and you start to believe that you are not good enough. You start to allow perfectionism to set you to this really high standard. You start to convince yourself that your worth is tied to your achievements and how other people perceive you. So now you're in this cycle of people pleasing, and you're not showing up as your true self. Now you have to hold back, and you have to kind of mold yourself into how other people want you to be. And then you get home, you feel this emptiness inside of you. You don't feel fulfilled. You feel unhappy. You're not aligning with who you are. You grow this sense of fear of showing your weaknesses because it makes you vulnerable. That was a hard truth to realize. The thing I love about therapy is that they literally guide you to answer your own questions and have your own breakthroughs. It was literally like this on the phone. I am a perfectionist because I fear what people are going to think of me because of this that happened to me when I was younger. I don't want to show my weaknesses because I fear that people are going to make fun of me. I fear that I'm not good enough. because of this. And it's like, wow, like just realizing this, it's like I'm allowing how other people have perceived me to dictate how I show up in my life, and it's actually holding me back from reaching my fullest potential. What I have started to do is I am starting to see these weaknesses, these quirks, these insecurities as growth opportunities. Whenever I find myself overthinking something, like literally the other day, I was posting on Instagram. I was there for a good 10-15 minutes just rereading what I was writing in my caption to make sure it made sense and it was so-called perfect. It was just like, hold up, this is one of those moments. This is one of those moments where I am overthinking and I'm wanting this to be perfect when I just need to show up as myself. Next tip is to learn how to trust. You need to learn how to trust the process, my friend, the journey, because if you don't trust, then you are going to be trying to control everything when most of those things, 90% of everything in our life, we don't have control of. By us trying to control everything, it's only making our life a living hell. It's taking a toll on our mental, our emotional health, and it's not allowing us to be creative, to show up authentically, and to connect with people. Like from the top of my head, I can think of 3 times in my corporate job where I was really wanting to get that promotion to a management position. And those 3 times, 3 other people got the promotion. How did I feel? A lot of negative emotions arose. I had self-doubt. I was like, is this the job for me? Am I not good enough? Am I not qualified? But in that moment, I realized that I had 2 choices. I could either stay in that negative cycle and just complain and literally just stay in the same position, or I could look at it from a different perspective and just look at the possibilities. Maybe my manager has another path for me. Maybe right now is not my time. Maybe there are other skills that I need to learn in order to be successful in that position. I had to recognize my lack of control and I had to trust the process. I was rushing back home from work and I was going on YouTube and I was looking at videos of business, human resources, communication, professionalism, negotiation. I was learning anything and everything that I needed to learn so I could be ready. And I also started to ask the upper management if I could shadow them and I can start getting experience in that area. I was being very transparent. I was letting them know I am interested in growing in the company. I am willing to learn. They saw this and a couple months later, I got promoted. This leads me to owning your truth. So my therapist gave me this assignment to complete and I'm going to share it with you guys now because it was so powerful and it gave me so much more awareness. You are going to take a sheet of paper. You're going to make 2 columns. One is going to be your strengths. One's going to be your weaknesses. You're going to write down all your strengths, all your weaknesses. You're going to look at your weaknesses and you are going to get to the root of them. So you're going to ask yourself if you have on your list that it's difficult for you to ask for help. You're going to ask yourself, why is it difficult for me to ask for help? Was there a message that I received in my childhood? Was there an experience that I had? After that, you are going to write yourself a love letter. The goal of this is for you to accept all of those weaknesses, for you to own your truth and show yourself some compassion. So let's say that a flaw that you don't like about yourself maybe is your eyebrows, your forehead, or maybe it's a birthmark that you have. Whatever it is, you're going to write it in that letter and you're going to say, I love and accept my birthmark on my arm because it is a part of who I am. And I am sorry that I haven't shown you as much love lately, but I adore you. I accept you. And by me doing this, like I was literally sitting on my porch and I was smiling during this whole thing. Like I was getting teary-eyed. I felt so loved and accepted. I felt like I didn't care what other people thought about me because I knew who I was and I didn't need anybody else to tell me. I was developing a strong relationship with myself that nobody could tear me down. And I started to accept them as my superpowers. Another example that my therapist had gave me, which makes so much sense, y'all. Like, listen up. This is going to be a game changer. Let's say that there's a kid on the school bus, right? He comes on and he has on these really dirty shoes or old. One of the other kids comes up to him and he's like,
"Oh, look at his shoes. They're so old. He can't afford to get new shoes."
And usually the other kid will most likely either start to cry or he'll slouch down, he'll try to hide, he'll go in the back because he was just made fun of and he's embarrassed. But what if the kid would have reacted, "Yeah, these shoes are old, and what about it?" Now he's owning his truth. He recognizes, yeah, my shoes are old. Who cares? I'm wearing them and they get me from point A to point B. And by him owning his truth, the other kid now has nothing to say. There's nothing else that he can say to make fun of the kid because he's not able to put him down anymore. And I have taken that concept now whenever somebody tells me like,
"Oh, you didn't know what the answer was for that?"
I respond with, yeah, I didn't know what that meant. And it all comes down to the relationship with yourself, okay? I have a conditional relationship with myself, and most of us have. We only love ourselves when? We love ourselves when we go to the gym. We love ourselves when we accomplish something that we have been wanting to do. We only love ourselves when we are complimented. What type of relationship is it when one of the people in the relationship is like,
"I only love you when you are your best self. I only love you when you wake up and you are happy. I don't love you when you wake up and you're grumpy. I don't love you when you make a mistake. I don't love that birthmark on your arm. I don't love your eyebrows. I don't love your forehead."
That's a conditional relationship, and that is very unhealthy and very toxic. A lot of us, me included, we have an unhealthy relationship with ourselves, and that is the season I am in right now, you guys. I am working to reprogram my mind and start becoming more aware of my self-talk and make more time to grow the relationship with myself and be more compassionate and embrace more of my imperfections. So we can't only love the good parts of ourselves, we also have to love our flaws. Talking about love, let's talk about self-love. You have to treat yourself with compassion. You have to be kind to yourself. You have to be understanding, because that is the only way that you are going to be able to protect yourself from other people who may want to put you down. We have to treat ourselves like we would a friend, because if your friend comes to you and they are vulnerable, they have made a mistake, maybe they had a presentation that they had to do at their job, they had a shaky voice and their hands were trembling and they feel like they didn't do a good job, they couldn't answer all of the questions. And what if you were like, "Oh, you should have known better. Why didn't you practice even more? Like, you shouldn't even be in that position." That friend is gonna feel hurt. That friend is not gonna feel any love or any kindness or understanding from you. That's how we talk to ourselves. That's how I have talked to myself. Literally, I am my worst enemy. I'm like, "You should have known better. Da-da-da-da-da. Why didn't you do this? You aren't good enough." Just becoming aware of that I'm talking to myself that way is like, dang, like, I need to be more loving to myself. I need to be more understanding. A good friend would say, "It's okay, you tried your best. This is a learning opportunity. Grow from it." Alrighty, and there you have it, you guys. That is a wrap for today's video. I really hope that you feel more empowered to start this journey of growing the relationship with yourself every single day. Just start being more aware of how you're talking to yourself, because you are unique and you are special, you are strong, you are good enough, and there is so much that you have to offer to the world. So don't limit yourself, don't put yourself down, don't be your worst enemy, because there's a lot of people out there that will already be taking on that role. So be your peace, be your best friend, be your best lover, and start turning your imperfections into your superpower. I promise you that by embracing your flaws, your insecurities, your quirks, your weaknesses, that you are going to be reaching your fullest potential. As always, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of the community, and stay blessed.
Oh my, what a one.